Hi everyone and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul and today I'm going to be walking you through an unboxing and assembly as well as an overview of this unique new case from InWin. This is the D-Frame. We'll start off with a quick look at the retail box, and when I say unique, I really mean it for this case. Here is a picture of the assembled case, and as you can see, it is an open air design. It has a frame that's made of aluminum pipes that are welded together, and I'll leave it at that for now. You're going to find out more as I move along here. Here's a list of the features on the side. Also wanted to point out two different colors available. This is going to be produced in limited quantities, so you might have a hard time finding it if you are interested in one, but we should have at least some of them available on Newegg. Comes in red and black as well as orange and blue. This one that we're looking at today is the orange and blue. You'll also see a list of features right there if you wanted to read them. Over on this side we have icons that go along with the features, so I'll kind of use this. So open air, D-frame design, aluminum tubes, supports graphics cards up to 330 millimeters in length, does have USB 3.0 ports as well as shock-proof pads that the case can actually stand on. The case can actually be stood up in multiple configurations, so I'll show you that as well once we get it assembled. The case itself is crash-proof. I would not recommend actually slamming your case down once it's all assembled with parts, but the sturdiness of the case will be very apparent once I actually start assembling it. ROHS compliant, of course. Natural airflow layout, does feature some unique cable management as well as plenty of cable management spacing, and of course designed for do-it-yourself computers. A little bit lower we have some more specifications here as well as some actual indications of the material used, so aluminum metal plates as well as drive bays. You get one 5¼ inch bay, three 3.5 inch bays, and then there's two 2.5 inch drive mounting points. We'll support ATX and micro ATX motherboards as well as power supplies up to 220 millimeters in length. Again, the front ports here, I/O expansion slots, thermal solution, and dimensions all listed right there if you guys want to take a closer look. Upon opening the box, we'll notice some instructions here. I know they're upside down for you guys, but basically this case does have some assembly required. I'll be walking you guys through that as mentioned. We also have a manual included right here, as well as information on the motherboard plate. It's an actual die-cast aluminum plate that the motherboard rests on. Again, I'll be showing you that. And this is a very detailed manual, also very nice printing color. But let me show you, assuming I can slide this out, which I can. All right, just like that, nice and easy. Very thoughtful of them to provide a handle for you. All right, so now there are all the layers, and what I wanted to show you guys in here, because they are walking you through assembly instructions, if I can get back to that page. So there's a list of all the included pieces as well as the layers that they come on. You'll note that they also provide some tools for assembly. So based on this, I'm going to kind of remove all of these products from the packaging, and I'll give you guys an overview of what's included. So here are all the contents of the retail box. As you can see, some assembly required. And I'm not going to walk you guys step by step through the assembly, but I will show you some parts so you can kind of get an idea. It might seem a bit daunting, but thanks to the manual being very well written and with lots of pictures throughout, it's really not that difficult. But let's start over here with some of the different pieces. Now, if you were referencing the picture there, you'll notice there is some glass parts on either side. So this lets you see through, whether you're looking into the main area of the chassis or whether you're looking back through the cable management area. You can see it's got a slight tint to it. This is tempered glass, and there's aluminum mounting joints on all four corners. You of course get two of these, one for the front, one for the back. So apart from those tempered glass pieces, you also have this, which is kind of the centerpiece of the D-frame. This is actually a die-cast piece of aluminum. They use a sand casting technique, so each one is unique. It gives it that kind of rough feel that you can see in between some of the joints, and as you can see, D-frame limited edition, because this is a limited edition. There's only, well, I don't know how many of them they're making right off the top of my head, but not a lot. So there's kind of the centerpiece and what you will assemble everything to and mount your motherboard to and all that. Next up, we have the actual frame itself. And I will tell you guys, these are deceptively light. They're actually using aerospace-grade aluminum in this. They're also adhering to aerospace standards for precision. So everything is welded or milled to within 0.5 millimeters, which is the aerospace standard for precision, to make sure everything fits together snugly and sturdily. They're also using a special TIG welding process for all the welding joints in the aluminum, so you get a very strong and sturdy frame while also being very light. And you also notice some of these blue rubber joints on here, and that is for when you're setting it down, like so. It is shockproof rubber, so you are going to reduce some of that shock if you're moving the D-frame, your assembled computer around. Again, you should still be careful when you're moving a computer, especially if it's packed out with parts, but you have two longer sides there. You also have two shorter sides here for either end, and you'll notice this end here is where your power supply mounts. So this piece as well as this piece, and this one mounts in like so. You can choose which way you want to mount your power supply, so you can have the plug at this end or at that end, and then this piece you can slide back and forth in these little grooves, and that will allow you to adjust for the length of your chosen power supply. All right, some other pieces over here. This is your front panel connectors, so to speak. I don't know which way is up. We'll say that way. Actually, I think it's vertical like that. So you have a power button, of course. You have a reset button, which is recessed right there. A couple USB 3.0 ports, mic and headphone, as well as a hard drive activity indicator. You also notice that all these pieces are also constructed of aluminum, including, for instance, your 3.5-inch drive cage right there. It's anodized aluminum, which again gives it that kind of smoky look, if you can tell from the sides there. It also adds to the sturdiness of the construction, and all the pieces in this case are extremely sturdy with little or no flex. And if there is any flex, it's because once you actually mount them and bolt down the points, you'll find that it is a very sturdy assembly overall. You also have a locking mechanism right here, which I should point out. When you're mounting your drives, you mount some bolts on the side, slide them in, and then you can lock them in place with this little slider right there, like so. All right. You do have 4 fan mounts for this. Again, aluminum housing for this. I'm sorry, these aren't die cast, but these are anodized aluminum. These use thumb screws to hold them in place. And once I get this thing assembled, I will show you where those mount to. You also have a 5¼ bay right there. Again, all aluminum, as you can see. And then finally, here is your expansion slot bay right there. So for your video cards that you're dropping in right there, that's where the expansion slots go, video cards or otherwise. Finally, you have a toolkit here. There's also a box of accessories and screws and whatnot right there. Here's your assembly kit, which is very nice. This is very nice soft leather that they've included. So you have a couple wrenches here, and you also have a screwdriver. So you should be all set to go for the assembly process. Lastly, we have this box. So we have some long posts right here, and these will actually feed through to provide some adherence and some threading on either side. So that's how the entire case is kind of held together. These are some plastic clips, which are used for cable management. You have quite a few things like this, which are aluminum thumb screws. They're ridged, so you can use your thumbs to tighten them, of course. Again, used for assembly. We also have some of these black metal plugs. We also have screws in various forms and shapes and sizes, screws as well as nuts. There's a couple more thumb screws right there. Again, lots of these, and I'm not even 100% sure which ones are which right now, but you will notice for a case that you assemble at home, every single bag clearly labeled, and these do correspond directly with labels that are in the manual, so you can easily tell these are the B1010s, and the manual will point out the step-by-step process of where they all go when they're installed, and I will be testing all this in just a moment. So even these individual things like your motherboard standoffs right there, individually labeled. It says for motherboard, for 2.5-inch hard drive, for optical drive, for your 3.5-inch drives, and for your motherboard PCI slots. So that is pretty much all the accessories, hardware, components. I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. Again, this isn't going to be a step-by-step process, but we'll show you some bits and pieces, and I'll come back once the entire thing is put together. And now with the D-frame fully assembled, I'm going to give you guys a 360-degree view so you can see all of it and probably most of our studio and the reflections on the tempered glass. But as you can see, it is a not too huge of a chassis. I've definitely seen larger than this one, but it is very open air. So you're going to see lots of airflow coming in from whatever side you might have open to the air, except for the plexiglass. I'm sorry, not plexiglass, tempered glass on the sides. I do want to point out that I have not installed all of the fan holders. They do come with 4. One of them mounts right here. 3 more can mount down here at the bottom for some vertical airflow, one by the hard drive cages, and then 2 more over here that will point straight up at the motherboard. Let me flip this around to this side so you can get another look at the power supply mounts. Again, you can undo these thumb screws here and reposition that depending on the length of your power supply. And there's mounts on either side so you can flip your power supply either way if you so prefer. Here at the back, where the cable management area would be, you can see there's plenty of space. I can actually fit my hand in there. There's actually tons of ways to fit your hands in there, even if you have the tempered glass panels installed. Also here at the back you can see the 5 1/4 inch bay. I have that angled pointing that way. You notice you should have enough space here with most optical drives to eject it this way and still get at it. You can also flip that and have it eject on the inside too, depending on your preference. Limited edition D-frame logo there in the center, and then your inputs and outputs are available over on this side. Let me remove these tempered glass side panels and we'll take a look at the interior. And finally look at the interior, at least a slightly better view of the interior. I know you're probably able to see it through the tempered glass. As you can see, we have a limited edition serial number right there. We have number 89 of 500. This is the drive cage. They are aligned vertically. And then again, you have an option to put one of these fan mounts. These all have thumb screws on them, so they're very easy to install and remove. You can put one right there so you get some direct airflow over your 3.5 inch drive bays. There's also 2 2.5 inch drive bay mounts right there above that, so you can install a couple there as well. Another fan mount right here so you can have some directional air pushing straight over towards your motherboard. And then the motherboard orientation is actually going to be angled this way, which is cool because that means that your video cards will be hanging from this bracket, which a lot of times will prevent the droopage that you sometimes see with certain cases. Of course, this case can be flipped over and everything, so it's a bit arbitrary anyway, but you do have that option. Apart from that, open air all the way through. Flipping around here to the back, again, just tons of room for cable management if you so desire. And then one other part that I also haven't installed yet are these little guys. These are plastic clips. You can pretty much put them anywhere you want on the aluminum side panel, and then you can tighten that, and you can use those to tie down your cables and get them tidied up wherever you might want them. Now, I actually see this case being used for quite a few different purposes. It is very rugged and durable, so if you did need something that you need to carry around or move, there's plenty of places to grip it, to move it, and the case, once assembled, is really not all that heavy. It's definitely not light, but thanks to the aluminum construction, you get a really nice combination of sturdiness as well as a fair amount of lightweightness, so you can transport it around. What I'm actually going to be using this one for, because we will be maintaining this one here in our Newegg TV studios, is an actual test bed. So I'm probably going to go without the top tempered glass panel most of the time. That will give me nice open access to all the internals. And if I do need to, I can put that panel on to keep it a bit more better protected. And if I do need to move the test bed around, again, really easy to do that thanks to all of the grip points that are accessible throughout. So there's one more last 360 of the D-frame. And that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Once again, this has been the InWin D-frame open air chassis, one of the most unique computer chassis that I've come across in quite a long time. I'm Paul with Newegg TV, and if you enjoyed today's video, you can find more on our Newegg TV YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, send us a like if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all next time.